Good morning and thanks for joining us on 13 Sunrise. I'm Allison Gormley, joined by Angela Buckman. Happy Father's Day to everyone watching. We have a good, at least first half of the day planned out.
Yes, have fun with Dad before 4 o'clock.
You got a timer.
Yes, because severe storms are on tap for later today. So just make sure you do all those outdoor activities before 4 or 5 o'clock. Weather impact alert, unfortunately, later today because of that threat of severe weather. The when this afternoon into the evening, that's arrival time, and this will last through about midnight. The impacts, severe storms, damaging winds, and tornadoes. Those are the primary threats with this next wave of potentially severe weather. Have several ways to get warnings, and especially if you're going to be on the go today, make sure that cell phone is charged and review your safety plan. It is a beautiful start to our Father's Day, and officially summer is here. It officially arrived at 4:24 this morning. 62 in Indianapolis right now, just about everybody else in the 50s. The other exception, Bloomington at 61. We have 54 Columbus and Richmond, 53 Crawfordsville, and 56 degrees in Muncie. Good morning, Delaware County. Next few hours, temperatures will start to climb from the 50s and 60s into the 70s, and that's where we're going to spend most of the afternoon. Some sunshine early, some thicker clouds later today, and anytime after 4 o'clock, we'll be keeping a very close eye on radar and that potential for some severe storms. What you see on radar now is a weakening complex that continues to move north and west. What's left of it could bring a couple of showers in areas north and west of Indianapolis earlier this afternoon. The rest of us will wait until after 4 o'clock for the arrival of a potentially severe complex of storms. And you can see it developing in eastern Illinois late this afternoon, early this evening, and then starts to move our way between 5 and 7 p.m. and will have an impact this evening and overnight. We'll continue the timeline and look ahead to some quieter weather in the 7-day in a few minutes.
Thank you, Angela. Metro Police made a quick arrest after a shooting yesterday morning, critically injuring a man downtown. They arrested a 20-year-old man for the crime and said they also recovered a gun. IMPD says the person shot was injured at Washington and Pennsylvania streets just after midnight Saturday. Police believe the victim was in a fight with two other people when the 20-year-old pulled a gun and shot him. Now to Indiana's most watched political race of the year, Secretary of State. We saw the incumbent ousted by his fellow Republicans and a new face chosen as the nominee. All of this happening yesterday at the GOP state convention in Fort Wayne. Diego Morales is out, and 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker tells us who's in.
Yeah, 4 Republican candidates heading into this convention in Fort Wayne, now down to 1. It took 5 hours and 2 rounds of voting for Max Engling to emerge as the Republican nominee for Secretary of State.
Welcome to the 2026 Indiana Republican Party State Convention.
And then there was one.
And our nominee for Secretary of State is Max Engling with 867 votes.
He came into the race at the last minute, but Max Engling was the first to call for party unity when Saturday's convention was over.
And let's go win as a team in November.
During the convention, Engling warned that losing in November could cost Republicans a lot more than the Secretary of State's office.
If we lose this office, we can lose everything else. The Secretary of State is the chief guardian of election integrity. And we must have integrity both in our elections and in our elected officials. They go hand in hand.
Following his win, Engling said as Secretary of State, he'd work towards tightening security around the state's elections.
I've already said it. We're here to close the primaries, make sure that only citizens are voting in our elections.
Heading into the convention, Engling had the support of several top Republicans.
We have to put the best candidate forward
including his former boss, U.S. Senator Jim Banks, who, along with Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, withdrew support from incumbent Diego Morales over concerns Morales couldn't win in November. Those concerns stem from questions surrounding his office's spending and hiring practices. Morales refused to step out of the race despite calls for him to do so. In his speech, Morales urged delegates to choose him again.
I did not step down. I am not a quitter. I am a fighter.
That fight, though, not enough this time. Republicans weren't the only ones in Fort Wayne this weekend with a vested interest in the Secretary of State's race.
I'm going to go anywhere. I'm going to talk to anyone.
Democratic nominee Bo Bai stopped by on his way to campaign at the Shelby County Fair.
I'm going to ask for the vote of the 1,800 delegates in that convention hall today. There's something better that's possible here in Indiana.
Bai's not the only one with his eye on the office of Secretary of State, who thinks it's time for a change in the party who controls the office. Former Republican mayor of Indianapolis, Greg Ballard, was also in town talking to voters. Ballard's campaign announced he's turned in over 52,000 signatures to get on the ballot in November as an independent.
We think there's a real path here to victory.
Ballard's hoping to appeal to independent voters as well as any voters in both parties who are disillusioned, maybe not happy with the candidates their party ultimately chose.
They have nowhere to go. Now they do. Now they have somewhere to go.
And now the campaigns shift their focus to November and wait to see if Greg Ballard does indeed have enough signatures to be on the ballot in November as an independent. He says he does. Both the Democrat and Republican nominees say his presence on the ballot will not change their message or how they campaign. Ballard says the same of them. We wait to see if that changes heading into November. In Fort Wayne, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
The race for Secretary of State is a big one in Indiana. We take a deeper dive into everything you need to know about the GOP state convention and the November election on this week's episode of Crossroads Politics. You can watch it for free on the WTHR streaming app later this morning at 10.